Time now on WATD to check in with Dr. John Hayes. He joins us every Thursday at this time, living and practicing by design. For a better experience at the doctor's office, try Dr. John Hayes' new, highly personalized and affordable direct primary care practice. Find out more at drjohnhayesjr.com, drjohnhayesjr.com. And Dr. John Hayes is in studio with us. Keep in mind, we have the text line for you if you have any questions or comments, 781-837-4900. That's our text line, 781-837-4900. Dr. John Hayes, good morning.
Hey, Rob, good morning.
How you doing?
Doing great.
All right, so this week in our Living and Practicing by Design segment, why school physicals are essential for your child's success.
Yeah, so this being August, our focus this month has been on trying to guide parents and children as much as we possibly can. You know, it's something that obviously pops up this time of year. And what we've been doing all month long is just trying to highlight the key things that we are finding in family medicine that are impacting children's health. You know, it's a significant issue. So the takeaway of and the purpose of this particular article is to really just highlight why periodic physicals and back-to-school physicals or annual physicals for children are particularly important.
Okay, so explain. I thought the kids got an annual physical anyway, for the most part.
Well, they should. They absolutely should. You know, the issue is that some things have changed since COVID. Sometimes access for care isn't quite what it could be for patients. In other words, they may not be able to schedule on time, or something comes up. They've been traveling. A child gets ill and needs to be seen quickly, and those are the types of things that we see. And the key takeaways are, so in a physical, there are some things that are really important, you know, height, weight, vision screening, hearing screening, and so on, and also paying attention to careful labs. You know, in my experience, oftentimes with pediatrics, I don't see that some of the nutrition labs are commonly checked that I would personally in my practice. You know, things like iron on a regular basis, B12 on a regular basis, vitamin D on a regular basis, you know, more so than some other physicians may. And so that's an issue. But there are some other things, too. One of the biggest things that we've seen as we've written this month and done some videos on this, too, are, you know, childhood habits. We've spoken relentlessly this past year about, you know, screen time and all that. And these issues are having very, very significant issue on mental health, development, and growth. So it's something that we're really concerned about, and you're just trying to highlight the importance of paying attention to these things and trying to give kids a good, you know, formation of habits right from the get-go, right from the very start.
Okay, all right. So make sure you get your physical, and then you're saying there are things that are important, but things maybe you should ask about. You know, do you check? Can you ask? You know, and say, hey, how's the lab work?
Exactly. You know, just paying attention, make sure that any needed or extra tests are done as they should be, and then appropriate follow-up is done. That is really very, very key in our book. And unfortunately, sometimes in our practice, we see, you know, kids that have somehow slipped through the cracks sometimes, and we just try to be as focused as we possibly can, and just informing parents, you know, and the importance of you know, the regularity and the importance of follow-up with these physical examinations for children.
And timeliness.
Exactly, right, timeliness.
Such a key factor. We think about children and being able to learn, and so many of the issues we find out may be related to some type of condition. Maybe, you know, that oftentimes, I mean, and it's no fault of ours that you wouldn't know that there's a problem with vision or hearing, or maybe some other reason that's affecting the way that they learn. Yeah,
I mean, that's a really good point, Rob, because as parents or family members, sometimes we just don't even get it. But sometimes you have a third party that takes a fresh look, and you're like, hey, are you aware that your child is walking a little awkwardly?
Yeah.
Are you aware that perhaps we should do a scoliosis screening because they're complaining that they have these aches and pains, but nobody's really assessed it to that depth?
Yeah.
So those are, you know, probably two of the most common things that we see, too.
Yeah, that's important. Okay, how about preparing for the physical, Dr. Hayes? Things you need to do and think about.
Yeah, so this time of year, we find that school letters and or physical forms are necessary or should be done, depending upon the age of the child, where they're going to school, and so on. The other issue, of course, are vaccinations. And, you know, this is a topic in and of itself. We have a lot of parents that have concerns about the vaccination schedules that are now being advocated, along with some very powerful physicians in this country.
Spend a whole segment on that.
Well, and we shall for sure, because there are some very important immunologists and cardiologists that are raising some concerns, and parents are concerned about this too.
Yeah.
But making sure that you understand in our practice you are open to discuss this, and we welcome your open discussion about this too. And the other thing is just making sure that you come prepared. If you have questions or concerns, if you've seen something, you've observed something behaviorally, physically. Dietary is another big one with kids. They kind of, like adults, they still can get stuck in routines and don't want to change and that type of thing. So just being aware of it and making us all aware so we can be, part of a team that works together for you and your family is the best way we can help you.
All right. So again, make sure you think about the checkup. And it is an important step, and you want to make sure you give it the full attention that it deserves to make sure that everything's being done. And also that if there is anything that needs to be addressed, that you get a heads on that up sooner than later. Like everything when it comes to health, we found that that's the most important thing to do.
Absolutely. Yep, not a question.
All right, so let's see here. For people to get in touch with you, Dr. John Hayes, they can do that. Your office is in Marshfield. And for people to do that, I imagine you still enjoy getting calls on the call or text line?
Absolutely.
All right, this is Dr. John Hayes' number, 781-659-7989, 781-659-7989, to get in touch with Dr. John Hayes and his team at Dr. John Hayes Jr.'s practice in Marshfield. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Rob.